or all of us all the time are essentially the eternal, blissful, conscious existence. We have ourselves expressed for our Leela as the body, the mind, the intellect, which we call as I. Then this I to transact, it needs the external world. That is also me, the objects, emotions, and thoughts. I is me, BMI, OET is mine. This me and mine, we get obsessed with them and lose our identity with them. They can never be perfect. The body, mind, intellect, the objects, emotions, and thoughts, if they have to transact, they have to be finite. And finite things can never be perfect. We are ever perfect. But having focused outside, lost our identity with our real being, we assume their nature as finite, mortal, sorrowful being. To regain our own divine nature, blissful, immortal, enlightened nature, you don't have to do anything. You only have to remember back. You only have to remember back what you are. So the attention of you, which is now focused out, has to be turned to the very source, the subject that illumines both me and mine, BMI and OET. Turning your attention to this factor is called yoga. Since we have lost our identity with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, to bring them back to focus to ourselves, with the body, through the actions, with the mind, through love and devotion, with the intellect, through knowledge, contemplation. These are the main yogas, bhakti, karma, bhakti, jnana, in whom the vasanas are minimum. For him, knowledge and contemplation. In whom vasanas are in excess, karma yoga. In whom they are balanced, for them, bhakti yoga. For devas, illumined people, devas means illumined people, it's jnana yoga. For asuras, means materially obsessed people, it is karma yoga. For people who are in between, for them bhakti yoga. For sattvic people, jnana yoga. For tamasic people, karma yoga. For rajasic people, bhakti yoga. Majority of the world are rajasic. Majority. They are neither too sattvic nor too tamasic. Sattvic people live in different planes. That's called swarga. Though in the same world probably, but it's a different plane. Tamasic people go through hell. It's the rajasic people who evolve from earth So most of us belong to this category. For us, the best suited yoga is Bhakti Yoga. That's why Sri Shankara, though a champion of Advaita, says in Vivek Chudamani, Moksha sadhana samagryam bhakti reva gariyasi. Amongst the various means of liberation, bhakti is the best. Because karma yoga has several problems. It depends on the external world. And there are anxieties of the future, failures, regrets. And in Jnana Yoga, the mind has to focus on Vairagya and all that, detachment and all that. In Bhakti Yoga, it suits everybody's nature because everybody knows what is love and everybody enjoys love. Nobody is unhappy when he's in love. So Bhakti Yoga is the most suitable to focus inside. And that is why in Vivek Chudamani again explains what is Bhakti. He says, to tune to your own nature is Bhakti. Your own form is Bhakti. Swaswarupanusandhanam, swatmatattvanusandhanam, bhakti ritya vidiyate. It says, Sri Shankara Bhagavad. God, I said, is the reality in you. No name, no form. The same God, I said, is the body, mind, intellect. The same God is the body, mind, intellect. So he has a form. God has form, yet no form. He has both forms, with the form, without the form. So naturally, there are two paths to see God, to know God. One is called Saguna, another is called Nirguna. Saguna means with qualities, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna, because when it takes a form, it's with qualities. When it is Nirguna, no qualities. So, two ways of trying to reach him through devotion. Saguna Upasana, Nirguna Upasana. And Sri Shankara again, the champion of Advaita, says in Prabodha Sudhakara, he quotes Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and says, God has two forms, Murtam, Amurtam. If there are two forms, there should be two paths. He says all this, Sri Shankara. So, the path with Saguna is easier and comfortable. The path with Nirguna is difficult. When you are established well in Saguna, you will automatically go to Nirguna. So instead of struggling with Nirguna, start with Saguna. That will lead you to Nirguna. This is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. This is the essence of Bhakti Yoga, which we are going to do in the 12th chapter. Now, today. Why 12th chapter Bhakti Yoga? Because in the 11th chapter, when Bhagavan is ending his discourse, he says, the form that you saw, Vishwarupa Darshan, is possible only through love, through devotion. By no other means you can see this form. Therefore, naturally, Arjuna wants a treatise on devotion and love, because that's the only way you can reach God in an easier way. So the chapter starts with Arjuna's question, because he has known that God has form God has no form. Because he's a king. A king has access to all knowledge. Everybody comes and teaches them whether they ask or not. So he has heard of Nirguna Bhakti, he has heard of Saguna Bhakti, and now Bhagavan has shown the Vishwarupa and said, be devoted to me. So Arjuna asks, I have known two ways of devotion. What do you recommend to me? That is the way he asks. Arjunovacha evam satata yuktaye bhakta tvam paryupasate ye chapyakshara amavyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamah. Evam, thus, as you said in the 11th chapter, to be devoted to you, to be devoted to the form Vishwarupa you have shown. Evam, satata yuktaye, continuously tuned to that. Bhaktaha, devotees, tvam paryupasate, worship you all the time. And also, yacha api aksharam abhyaktam. Also those people who worship the imperishable and the unmanifest, tesham, out of these two people, ke yoga vittamaha, who are adepts in yoga. That is, which makes one get the best out of the yoga. Yoga means integration, meditation, joining with the Lord, which is the best path, which gives you the best dividends. Right? He didn't ask because he knows both will reach. He didn't ask through which I will reach God. He asked correctly, which is the best path, that is, out of the two, which path should I choose? Because both paths are accepted. So now he wants to know which path he should choose. Bhagavan answers. Sri Bhagavan uvacha maya veshyamano ye mam nitya yukta upasate siddhaya parayo petaha tebe yukta tamamataha. Mai aveshya, mai in me, aveshya, fixing, entering, obsessed with me, mano, mind, ye, whoever he may be, mam, me, nitya yukta, continuously invoking me, steadfast, upasate, worship me, siddhaya, with faith, paraya, supreme faith, upaste, those siddhaya, paraya, upeta, siddhaya, with highest, supreme faith, upetaha, endowed with, may, to me, yukta tama mataha, they are the best, according to my opinion. See, the humility of Bhagavan. He is God. He knows everything. He didn't say, this is the best. He said, according to my opinion, te me mataha. This is my opinion. Why? Why does he say so? He could have said, this is the best. No. Because two paths are suitable to two different people. Therefore, he doesn't want to say conclusively, this is the best. But to him, he says, to me, this is the best because this is easier, this is simpler, this is pleasant, no risk of falling, guaranteed to go to the next level. Simpler, easier, pleasant, no risk, and you will definitely go to the next level. So Instead of skipping this and struggling with the other, go through this. So therefore, he says, in my opinion, this is the best. That my opinion is important. Otherwise, a lot of people will say, we have heard Gnana Marga is the best meditation. Now, why do you say Sagunopasana is best? That's why Krishna says, my opinion, because he's talking to Arjuna. Arjuna has vasanas and he is not ready for contemplation. So, with reference to Arjuna, he is advising, in my opinion, the Sagunopasana, the devotion with the form are better. I just want to give you some useful tip here. With the form means not necessarily with Ganesha, with Krishna, with Rama, with Muruga, etc. When I said not necessarily, doesn't mean they are not there. They are excluded. No. It is not only them. That is what I mean. Not necessarily. Not only you worship those forms, everything in the world is his form. Whomever you see is his form. Whatever you see is his form. The rivers, the mountains, the trees, the birds, all, and the people, the good, the bad, all of them are his forms. So that's the best meditation. In fact, it is the best meditation to see God in all. Good, bad, ugly, all are God's expressions. So that is also Sagunopasana. In which case, the Saguna becomes better than Nirguna. Because Nirgunopasana, probably only when you sit, the mind will be in poise. When you are in transacting, you have to see the entire world. So when you are transacting, if you see God in all, that's the best meditation. Therefore, that's also maybe one of the reasons Bhagavan says, in my opinion, this is the best. And what about the Nirgunopasana? Ye tvakshara nirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kutasthamachalam dhrubam. Ye, whoever he may be, tu whenever it comes in Shastra, tu means but. But means what? With reference to what I've already told Sagunopasana, in contrast to that, but, that's why but. Those who worship Aksharam, the imperishable, Avyaktam, the unmanifest, Paryupasate, worship, Sarvatragam, the omnipresent, that which is there everywhere, Achintyam, which cannot be thought of by the mind, unthinkable, Kutastham, which doesn't change, like an anvil that takes all the onslaughts but never changes, Achalam, doesn't move, Dhruvam, foe. That is, this is the Nirgunopasana. Of what? Which is imperishable, cannot be thought by the intellect, which is everywhere, unmanifest, which doesn't change, has no motion, and form. How to realize that? Because you can see anything through senses. When you say avyaktam, you cannot see it. Vyaktam means that which can be seen by the senses of the mind. When you say avyaktam, you cannot see that. How? Then you can think. He says you cannot even think. You cannot see, you cannot think. Then how to know that? Very difficult. That's why Bhagavan says that is better. You cannot, no sense organ can perceive it. Intellect cannot think about it. Why? That's the very subject which sees through the senses. And when the subject comes to objectify, there is nobody to see. Nobody to think when the consciousness is made object. So therefore, it cannot be seen, it cannot be heard, it cannot be touched, etc. It cannot be thought also. It's unmanifest. And therefore, how to see that? Bhagavan says, Samnayam yendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hiterataha. Sarvatra, everywhere. Sorry, Samnayam yendriya gramam. Indriya gramam means the collection of senses, samniyamya, controlling, sarvatra samabuddhaya, under all situations, with an equanimous mind, if you contemplate, controlling the senses means what? Take off the mind from them. Senses don't run, ears don't run, eyes don't run, nose doesn't run. Only when the mind is associated, you can feel the perceptions. If the mind is removed, means mind is turned to its own source, senses are controlled, its own source, then mind recognizes itself to be the self. And therefore, no thoughts also. Samabuddhayaha, with an equanimous mind, you see the very subject, feel the subject. That is Nirgunopasana. Withdraw from the mind, withdraw from the senses, and what is left over is that consciousness which is yourself, which is Nirgunopasana. So Bhagavan says, Sagunopasana is simple. Maya Veshya Mano Yemam, all the time thinking about me. Nitya Yukta Upasate Sraddhaya Parayopetaha, with utmost faith, you shall reach me. But on the contrary, Nirgunopasana, senses cannot see, my intellect cannot think, it's difficult to control this thing. Therefore, what suits all is the Saguna Bhakti, and when you are established in Saguna Bhakti, you will glide into the Nirguna Bhakti without effort. So, Bhagavan says why he said Saguna Bhakti is better than Nirguna Bhakti. He is telling, Klesho dikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate. Because he says, Kleshaha adhikataram, there is lot of difficulty, strain. Avyakta tesham avyakta asakta kleshodhikatas tesham avyakta asakta chetasam. People who have turned their attention to the unmanifest, for them it's very difficult. Very difficult. Concentration on the unmanifest is very difficult. Avyaktahi gatir dukkham. That path is full of dukkham means pain. That path of unmanifest attunement, meditation, devotion is very difficult, ridden with pain. Why? Dehavadbhihi avapyati. Because you are identifying with the body. Dehavadbhihi. You are obsessed with the body. A man who is obsessed with the body cannot withdraw from the senses of the mind, and therefore that path is difficult. That path of devotion to the unmanifest is difficult. Again, he goes back to the Sagunopasana. First, he said Saguna is the best. Then that two he used. In contrast, Nirguna is difficult. Now again he is using two. That is difficult, but this is easy. So that but he says again two. Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayam tavupasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na achirat partha mai avesha chetasa mai aveshita chetasa tesham yetu sarvanikar. In contrast to the people who are struggling with nirgunopasana, those people who dedicate all their actions of the body, mind and intellect, right, completely dedicated to the recognition, to the attunement, to the gaining of Bhagavan, those people who renounce all their actions in me. Renounce all actions in me means do all actions for my sake. The body, whatever it does, they are offered to Bhagavan. The mind, the emotions are offered to Bhagavan. The intellect, the contemplation is also offered to Bhagavan. All actions are tuned to Bhagavan. The ego is withdrawn. Right? And when he says, do all actions for my sake, see, these simple clues we give are very important. You should not ignore them. When he says, renounce all actions in me, that is the word there. Renounce all actions means what? Renounce the ego in all actions. Take away the ego through the bodily actions, through emotions, through intellect. Take away the ego. That is, all actions which are unavoidable are done for the sake of God. All emotions are turned towards Bhagavan. In every thinking, everything, you only try to see Bhagavan. That's called renouncing. That's why it's always attachment, detachment. Attached to God and detached from the world. Detached is called sannyasa. Attached is called yoga. It's sannyasa yoga. You cannot turn to God without trying to get away from the body, mind, intellect, objects, emotions, and thoughts. You cannot get away from them without attaching to God. Therefore, renouncing all actions means actions of the body, mind, intellect, turning all actions toward God. Then what happens? When with ego you do, you are worried about the fruits. And therefore, your efficiency is lost. You have regrets. Again, that saps your energy. Expectations of the future makes you restless. So your efficiency is small. But when you are doing all actions as an agent of God, for the sake of God, you are not dependent on results. You have no anxieties. You have no regrets. So what happens? You become highly dynamic and productive. So a devotee who does work for God is not a useless fellow. He actually produces more than an ordinary person. Tesham aham samudharta. Such people, I uplift them. Mrityu samsara sagarat. Where from? From the ocean of death, I lift them up. Means I make them immortal. Bhavami na achirat. Very soon, Partha, Maya Veshata Chetasam. Because their minds are totally involved in me. See, all of you read this, and it seems you have understood. Yes, you understand, but it doesn't give you full benefits unless you know the implications. So do not miss the steps I say. Every explanation, every step I say is very important from our internalizing point of view. I myself have minimized, I am doing this classes half the time, less than half the time what I used to do. So in that, if you leave something, it will not benefit you. See, Tesham Aham Samudharta. In the case of the Nirguna persona people, they have to struggle and reach Bhagavan because they are not invoking Bhagavan. Here, I shall uplift them. Means the burden is passed on to Bhagavan. There are two types of devotees. Marjala Kishora Nyayam. One, Marjala cat, Kishora child, Nyayam logic. The cat doesn't do anything. The mother takes it and puts it in a safe place. Mother brings the food. The monkey, the mother doesn't do anything. It has to catch on to the monkey. That's called Markata Kishora Nyayam. The logic of the child of the monkey. So, the Marjala Kishora Nyayam, Bhagavan takes the responsibility, like the cat. Markata Kishora Nyayam, the people who worship the unmanifest, they have to struggle to reach. Here Bhagavan says, Aham Samudharta, I shall uplift them. That is one thing. Achirat Partha, see these people, unmanifest people, they may gain it in the seat of meditation, probably if they are prepared quickly. Don't worry, you will also very soon reach there. Achirat Partha. Why? Mai Aveshita Chetasam. Your mind dwells in me. Any being is what his thoughts are. What differentiates from being to being is mainly the thoughts. The physical difference is nothing. But it's the thought that makes somebody different from the other. And what are the thoughts? Whatever you are thinking, that are your thoughts. If you are thinking about money, you are money-minded. If you are thinking about music, you are a musician. Poetry, you are a poet. Like that. Whatever your mind thinks, that you will become. If you are thinking all the time of God, you will become God. That's what he says. Mai aveshita chetasam. Your mind entering into me, continuously thinking about me, you will become me. Therefore, what you should do? Mayyeva manadasva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nevasishyasi mayyeva, atavurdham na samshayaha. Since a man is what he thinks, what he feels. Feels through the mind, thinks through the intellect. That's what a man is. So, Mayyeva manadasva, place your mind in me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Through the intellect, you enter into me. You continuously think about me. And when you do so, because a man is what he feels and what he thinks, mind is placed in him, intellect is placed in him. Therefore, the mind and intellect fuse into the consciousness. How? I'll give you some tip which Gurudev gives. What is mind? Consciousness when it sees of an object, a thought is formed. Object is there, you are not conscious of it, no thought. You have consciousness, no object, no thought. So thought means consciousness plus object, right? Consciousness plus object, that is thought. Now, when you turn the mind towards God, God becomes the object. So what happens? The mind becomes God. Same thing with intellect. Because what I see, an object, the mind makes a thought out of it. And if my mind and intellect are turned towards God, they become the same consciousness, because they are essentially consciousness, because consciousness plus object is thought. And when the object is removed and this consciousness is made the object, they become the consciousness. Nivashasyasi mayyeva atha urtam na samshayah. And then there is no doubt about it. And now he gives, in case you are not able to all the time keep, he gives 2-3 alternatives. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa yoga yuktena abhyasa yogena tato mamuchaptum dhananjaya. In case you are not able to keep your mind all the time in me, atha chittam samadhatum, to fix it in me, na shaknoshi, you are not able to do, mayistiram firmly, abhyasa yogena, through the constant practice, tataha, thereafter, mamichaptum dhananjaya. You are not able to keep the mind in Bhagavan all the time. What do? Bring it back. 6th chapter we did. Yato yato nischarati manah chanchalam astiram. Wherever the mind wanders. Yato yato nischarati. Wherever the mind wanders. Tata tata niyamya. So from that you bring it back. This is called abhyasa. Abhyasa means repetitive action, exercise. Abhyasa, continuously turning the mind to Bhagavan. It is possible when you only withdraw. That's why in 6th chapter it says vairagyena abhyasena, through detachment and through continuous tuning to Bhagavan. Vairagya and abhyasa. When you do that, you shall rest in Bhagavan. So you don't worry if the mind wanders. Bring it back. Bring it back. And I will give you an extra clue. Mind wanders, that becomes a blessing. You say, my mind is all the time wandering. Okay, you see where it is going. When you see where it is going, you become the seer. You are detached from that automatically. When you try to see the mind that is wandering, you become the seer. Detached from the mind, it becomes easier. It becomes a effortless meditation. So don't have to worry about it. Wherever the mind goes, bring it back. That's called abhyasa yoga. Abhyasepyopi samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madadhamapi karmani kurvan siddhim avapsasi. You are not able to do that also. That is, you are not even conscious it is running off. So you cannot bring it back. Because the vasanas are too many. First, he said, keep the mind always in me. Second, he said, you can't do it, bring it back, abhyasa. Now he says, you can't do that also because you are full of vasanas. First, when he said, keep the mind in me, almost no vasanas. 20% vasanas. When he says, bring it back, 40% vasanas. Right? And now he says, you cannot do that also. 60% vasanas are there. Then what do? Through karma yoga. All your actions are offering to God. All the results that you get is his prasada. Your actions are naivedya to him. The results given by him are prasada. This is called karma yoga buddhi. All the actions are done for the sake of God. When you do that way, you do not become dependent on results, and therefore no new vasanas are brought. In karma yoga, the existing vasanas get exhausted. You do not get new vasanas. The existing vasanas get exhausted. You don't get new vasanas. And through such a mind, you can do abhyasa. After abhyasa, you can get established in him. So first established, otherwise abhyasa, otherwise karma yoga. Because all of them will take you back to the higher and the higher dimensions. And now karma yoga also you find difficult because you are attached to results. You are not able to detach from hopes. All that is difficult for you. Then he says, Advaidapyashaktosi kartum madyogamashritah sarva karma palatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan. That's also difficult. After doing everything, say Krishnarpanam, Ramarpanam, your mind becomes quite calm. Because everything you take it as is prasada. Krishnarpanam, Ramarpanam. And when the mind takes it as prasada, it becomes calm. It becomes quiet and calm. That's the purpose of meditation. So you easily get meditation through just saying Krishnarpanam, Ramarpanam. So he has given 4 methods. For people whose vasanas are 20%, complete absorption in God, whose vasanas are 40%, abhyasa yoga, practice of tuning and withdrawing. For people whose vasanas are 60%, karma yoga. For people whose vasanas are 80%, just say Krishnarpanam, Ramarpanam, you get peace. Also, when you say all the phalas I am giving to God, Krishnarpanam, Ramarpanam, I accept whatever he gives, I need him. If he gives me difficulty, sorrow, I need him. I accept it as his prasad. In that prasada buddhi, mind becomes quiet and calm, becomes fit for meditation. That's the easier path. And why struggle? You will easily get prasada buddhi. And therefore he says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat. Oh, sorry, I think I left. I left one. Yeah. Athai dadapya shaktoshi. That I did. 11. I did it. So I had to only do the Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagaha tyagat chantiranantaram. It says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. By mere intellectual knowledge, book knowledge, abhyasa, japa, meditation, repetition of his name, that is better. Then mere jnanam means not ultimate. Book knowledge, japa, meditation, etc. are better. And more than abhyasa, japa and all that, dhyana, contemplation on him is better. And this contemplation also, more than that, is your karma phala tyagaha. You are renouncing the fruits is better than even meditation and contemplation. Why? Tyaga chanti anantaram. See, why are you doing various things? Knowledge you are getting for what? To gain peace. But through knowledge you do not get mere book knowledge. Abhyasa you are gaining for what? To get peace is difficult. Dhyana, meditation also difficult. But when you take all results as Bhagavad Prasada, mind becomes calm. What you were struggling through jnana, abhyasa, and dhyana become effortless through the renunciation of karma phala. So that's easier. Why struggle? And now he has exhaustively dealt with Sagunopasana. In Nirgunopasana, he said it is difficult for people who are obsessed with the body and left it. Now, you can't ignore them. It's difficult people who are obsessed with the body. What they should do? Bring certain tuning in your personality. The mind, intellect have to drop some negative qualities and learn to integrate, focus to Bhagavan. The mind, intellect, they are not able to turn to Bhagavan because they are obsessed with lot of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are born out of your obsession with the body. So when you detach from the body, negative thoughts are dropped and you become fit for meditation. So that tuning of the personality is needed for people who do Nirgunopasana. Those values of tuning, about 36, are taken from here onwards for people who do Nirgunopasana. Advesta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna yevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami. Advesta, not hating anybody. When you hate anybody, can you be happy? When you love anybody, can you be unhappy? So what you should take? Love all. Don't hate anybody, because then only we can be happy. Happiness is what you want. And when you hate, you are seeing duality. Truth is non-dual. One God alone is everywhere. And you are doing Nirgunopasana, one God. Want to see one God, yet hate somebody? How? How it's possible? Advesta sarva bhutanam maitrah karuna yevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami. And not merely don't hate, that's only one aspect negative. Show love to all. Be friendly to all. Maitraha, friendship. Friendly. Karuna, compassion. Evacha. Not merely don't hate, show love, have compassion. Nirmamaha, leave all the sense of possessions. I and nirahankaraha, I, nirmama, mine, all that you leave. Because this I and mine, when you have duality. And with sense of duality, you will have all negative thoughts. Two things happen here. You want Nirgunopasana and you are obsessed to not only gunas, negative gunas. Please think over. You want Nirgunopasana, God without any qualities, and you are getting attached to qualities, they are also negative qualities. And Nirgunopasana is God only. And when you have negative qualities, you are seeing duality. Two problems, three problems actually. You want one God, you are seeing the other because you have negative thoughts, right? And through negative thoughts, you lose the peace that you have. That's what you want. You are damaging your own purpose. You'd want God without qualities. You are obsessed with qualities, that too negative qualities. So you have to drop all of them. Nirmamaha nirahankaraha sama dukkha sukha kshami. You must accept sukha and dukkha are two inevitable experiences for you. All of us need all the time, sometimes sukha, sometimes dukkha, because both are like sweet and bitter pills. When you go to office and work in the field, it's painful. Take rest at home. It's relaxing. You have to relax, you have to work. You need pain, you need comfort. So you need sukha, you need dukkha. You need both. God gives you both according to your need. Do not resist. Do not reject. Accept all that He gives. Be like a mirror. It rejects nothing. It reflects everything. It keeps nothing. It rejects nothing. It keeps nothing. It reflects everything. Be like a mirror. So, sama, dukkha, sukha. Keeping the same mind in both sukha and dukkha. That's possible. Kshami Kshama means two meanings. When you can forgive others who hurt you. Kshami, one who can endure. Only when you forgive, you can endure. Only when you can endure, you can forgive. Santushtas satatam yogi yatatma dhruda nischayah mayyarpita mano buddhihi yo madbhaktas same priyah. Santushtaha, satisfied, contented, satatam, all the time. Yogi, the one who wants to meditate. One who wants to meditate cannot be critical of what he gets, even food or any comfort. He cannot be critical. I need this, I need that. Then you are in duality. When you are critical, you are in duality. So, you must go beyond the mind, beyond the choice. Beyond the mind means beyond the choice. After all, this body, mind, intellect are equipments to know God. You will go to God when you detach yourself from the body, mind, intellect. So you should not get obsessed with any experiences of the body, mind, or intellect. Food also, whatever food you get, be happy. This is what I need. Bhagavan gave me this. Happy, prasadam. When you go to temple, they give prasadam. You don't see there is more uppu, there is less uppu. You accept everything. So also, whatever food you get, not only to eat, to the eyes, to the ears, everything. Be contented with that. Whatever God gives is what you need. Whatever He doesn't give, you do not need. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhruda nischaya. Dhruda nischaya with a firm decision. Yatatma, continuously striving. Mayyarpita mano buddhihi. His mind and intellect completely offered for the pursuit of knowing Bhagavan. Mat bhaktaha, such a devotee of Nirguna Bhakta, Same Priyaha, he is dear to me. From here onwards, Bhagavan will say, Same Priyaha, he is dear to me. You will say, I am a devotee, I love God. You love God, but does God love you? That's important. God will love you only when you have no sense of duality. God will love you when you don't hate anybody else. God will love you when you respect and love everybody. God will love you when you have no ego, I and mine. God will love you when you can take all that He gives with an equanimous mind. Therefore, I love God. It has no value. Does He love you? If He has to love you, you need to develop these qualities. I don't have. Develop. All seeds are in you. All seeds, both good and bad, Kauravas and Pandavas are in you. Whatever you water, they develop. Develop those qualities. Yasma no dvijate lokah. Yeah. Yasma no dvijate lokah. Lokan no dvijate chayah. Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvega, Muktaha, Yaha, Sacha, Me Priyaha, Yasmat, from whom na Udvijite Lokaha. Nobody is afraid of him. When anybody sees him, they are not afraid of him because he sees God in all. He loves all. Why anybody is afraid of somebody who has no ego, who loves all? They will also love. So, yasmat na udvijite lokaha. Seeing whom nobody is agitated. Lokanna udvijite chayaha. And he himself is not agitated by any type of people or experience he sees because he sees all of them as God. Others are not agitated of him. He is not agitated of others because there is no other at all in his life. There is only God. Others are not agitated of him. He is not agitated of others because in his life there are no others at all. Harsha, Amarsha, Harsha, happiness, joy, Amarsha, envy, Bhaya, fear, Udvega, anxiety. Harsha, joy, Amarsha, envy, Bhaya, fear, Udvega, anxiety. All these belong to the mind. They are waves, thought waves. When these waves are there, the consciousness which is peaceful, which is quiet, is not seen. They are covered by these waves. If you want to see the consciousness, feel the consciousness, these waves should subside. And why do you have these waves? Because you see other. And what you want? Want the experience of the nirguna. You want the experience of the nirguna, that means non-dual experience, but see the other. You are defeating your own cause. You are defeating your own cause. So you must be free from them. See only God everywhere. And such a devotee, such a me priyaha, he is dear to me. He is dear to me. Yo na hrushyati na dvesti, na chochiti na kanchati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktimanyas same priyaha, yaha na hrushyati. One who doesn't rejoice when he gets something pleasant. Right? Na dvesti, doesn't hate something unpleasant. Na shochati, doesn't grieve over what he has lost. Na kanchati, doesn't expect anything to gain. Shubha, Ashubha, Parityagi. One who has renounced his obsession of Shubha, Ashubha. Parityagi, completely renounced. Bhaktiman, such a devotee, such a me priyaha, he is dear to me. Here, please see carefully. Everywhere you have to remember, Nirgunopasaka wants non-dual experience. But if he has negative qualities, it's a dual experience. So he is undoing his own cause. So na hrushyati, rejoices. Dvesti, hates. That means you are seeing duality. You are not seeing God in all. How can you do Nirgunopasana? Na shochati, doesn't grieve. You grieve for something, you expect something only when you feel you are incomplete. You feel you are incomplete only when you are obsessed with the body. Obsessed with the body, therefore feel incomplete, therefore expect something, regret something. How will you experience God? Shubha, Ashubha, Parityagi. Auspicious things, inauspicious, they all belong to the body. You know, body is not real. That's what you are seeing. You are wanting Nirgunopasana. Nirgunopasana is beyond all names and forms. And when you want Shubha and Ashubha, good and bad, You are obsessed with the body because only body has good and bad. Obsessed with the body, how will you experience the nirguna? So you have to renounce this concept of good and bad. And how can you renounce? Not like an idiot, with knowledge, completely. That is called parityaga. Tyaga is to renounce without thinking. Parityaga, wherever pari is used in Vedanta, that is holistic. Pari. Pari, means, the boundary. That's called pari. So parityaga, the boundary means all inclusive. Renouncing all your worries about Shubha and Ashubha and focus to me, Bhaktiman, devoted to me, such a me priya. That devotee is dear to me because he has gone beyond the body, mind, intellect, beyond the sense of duality. Therefore, he is dear to me. Samasyatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitaha. Samasyatrau cha mitre cha. He is same to the friend and an enemy. Is there somebody who is a friend or who is an enemy? Anyone is friend to somebody, is an enemy to somebody. Therefore, there is nobody who is friend or enemy. It's you that see the friend in him. It's the other who sees the enemy in him. Therefore, the friend and the enemy are in your own mind, not in the other person. Number one. Number two, again, you see friend and enemy. You are only seeing people with the bodies. You are in the level of duality. How can you do Nirguna Upasana? You have to see the same in Mitra and Shatru. Same God expressing as your friend, as your enemy. Why God comes in two forms? Because you need to train your mind to see the one God in all expressions. In comfort, in pain, in friend, in enemy. You must be able to see him. Therefore, to give you that laboratory to work on your mind, he comes in opposites. Shatru, Mitra, Sukha, Dukkha, etc. Samat, Shatru, cha Mitre, cha. Shatru, Mitru is emotional, mind. Mana, Avamana. Honor and dishonor. That's intellect. Intellect says this is honor, that is dishonor. It judges. Right? Again, it's a duality. It causes waves. Duality causes waves. You cannot experience the self. So therefore, Shatru Mitra is mind. Mana Avamana is intellect. Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, they belong to the body. Heat and cold, comfort and pain. In all of them, Samaha is equanimous, or he sees the same Sama, that which is common in all, that existence, that life in all the God. In all the God, Sangha Vivarjita, not attached to one that is pleasant and not averse to the next. Attachment and aversion are the creation of the mind. Attachment and aversion happens when you see the other, duality. Attachment and aversion are creation of the mind. They happen when you see duality. And when you see duality, you cannot have the experience of one, the Nirguna. You want to be a Nirguna Bhakta. You want to be Nirguna Bhakta. You cannot afford to see duality. Therefore, have to go beyond the body, Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. Heat and cold, pleasure and pain. Go beyond the mind, Shatru, Mitra. Go beyond the intellect, Mana, Avamana. Unless you transcend the body, mind, intellect, unless you fuse all differences into that one, you will not be able to have the experience of that one who is beyond all qualities, Nirguna. You want to do Nirguna Upasana, but you have these attachments, Sukha, Dukkha, Shitru, Mitru, you can't have it. Therefore, Sama, keep your mind the same or see the same in all. How? Not getting attached to one, attached to good, averse to bad, attached to comfort, averse to pain. That cannot give you that experience. Sangha vivarjitaha. Sangha means attachment. Vivarjitaha, leaving. Attachment means depending. If I have this, I am happy. If I don't have this, I am unhappy. That's called Sangha. I plus I want. Gurudev says, I plus I want. So when you have that, you cannot have the experience of the Nirguna. So you must transcend the body, the mind, the intellect, not have preference to one and aversion to one. Neither hug any nor reject any. Don't hug any or reject any with a sense of duality. Hug all in love. That's different. That's different. All are gods. Right? So do not try to court one type of experience and reject the other type of experience. Tulya nindastutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketastiramatihi bhaktimanya priyo naraha. Tulya ninda stutihi. Ninda. Somebody scolds you, censures you, right? Ninda, stutihi, somebody praises you, right? Somebody scolds you. What does he see in you? Individuality. When he sees individuality in you, he is not a perfect one. When anybody doesn't see the same, the God in all, when he sees you, he is seeing not you, he is seeing you through his mind. When somebody sees you and censures you, he is seeing you through the mind. Whatever is seen through the mind is a perception, not real. So somebody censures, he is in the dualistic plane, he is not a person who knows the truth. By you who wants the ultimate experience of the oneness, be carried away by anybody censuring you. That means you yourself come down to that level of duality. You want to experience that one level of duality. Anybody is censuring you, you should be above that. Because you know that censuring or praising is to the individuality. Individuality itself is a myth, is an appearance. Since it has no reality, it's a myth. I need not be depressed when somebody censures me. I need not be elated when somebody praises me, because both are false. Both are false. Both are perceptions. You remember this sentence. When Peter talks about Paul, he talks more about Peter than Paul. That's why the story also we have heard everywhere. Dharmaraja went to see if there is a bad man, he could not see. Duryodhana went to see whether there is a good man, he could not see, because everybody sees his mind. So, therefore, Tulya Ninda Stuti Mauni. Tulya, same. Ninda, censure. Stuti, praise. Mauni, say, Mauni doesn't speak, means silent. This Mauni is not physical silence. Physical silence may help it, may help, but that's not the thing, because the word Mauna is Munehe Swabhavaha, the nature of the contemplative one. Muni means Manana Silavan Muni. One who contemplates is called Muni, and his Swabhava is called Mauna. You are contemplating on something serious. Can you go on talking? When you are contemplating, you cannot talk. Therefore, a contemplative one becomes silent. And a person who is tuned his mind all to that God is a contemplative one. And for him, neither praise nor censure makes any difference. Tulyananda stutir mauni, santushtaha yena kena. Because he has no value for anything in the outside world, whatever he gets for his sustenance to carry out this journey of reaching his own dimension, he is happy with that because he has full faith. What I need, God gives, and what he doesn't give, I do not need. Santushto yena kena siti aniketaha, without a home. That means people cannot realize if he is in a home. No. Aniketaha. What is a home? When you go out in the whole day, struggle everywhere, you come home for what? Rest, peace. So a home is where you find rest. Aniketaha, he has no home means he has not found his peace in all the objective world. He has not found his rest in all the objective world. He finds his rest only in his own dimension, which you call it as God. Stiramatihi, with an unwavering intellect. Stiramatihi, bhaktiman, such a devotee, me priyaha, he is dear to me. So what all we see, so everywhere he say, me priyaha, he is dear to me. And none of them, nowhere he said, people who do puja to me, people who offer naivedya to me, people who offer me golden jewels, people who offer me best dress, people who do yajnas to me, he never said. He only said about the mind qualities, because a man who identifies with God has no sense of duality. Therefore, no negative qualities. Advesta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamaha nirahankaraha. These are the qualities of the mind. So Bhagavan loves the mind and not the body. So if you're a bhakta is decided by the mind. You should have these positive qualities, then Bhagavan will love you. It's not that Bhagavan is partial to somebody, impartial to somebody. He is there for everyone, available all the time. But a man with negative qualities cannot feel his presence. Therefore, figuratively, he rejects Bhagavan and he is not dear. A man who has positive qualities, has a quiet, calm, beautiful mind where he feels Bhagavan in him. Therefore, they become one, and therefore Bhagavan says, he is dear to me. Aniketaha stiramatihi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. And Bhagavan concludes this lovely treatise on devotion. ये तु धर्म्यां ऋतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धदाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः ये तु धर्म्यां ऋतम्. ऋतम् is something which is eternal. Dharmya, this immortal nature, the immortal support, the immortal expression, the immortal sustainer. Dharma is that which sustains anything, which holds anything. Fire, its dharma is hot. Remove heat from fire, it's no more fire. Dharyate, that which holds. Heat holds fire. Therefore, heat is the dharma of fire. And taste is the dharma of water. What is the dharma of Bhagavan? Existence, Sat. Knowledge, Chit. Ananda, happiness. That's his nature. And that nature is his nirguna nature. What you want to experience. That nirguna nature you can experience only when you've gone beyond dualities. And therefore, he has given you all clues how to go beyond dualities. Advesta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna. Not hating anybody, friendly to all, compassion to all. Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Avamana, all of them treating equally. Go beyond duality. When you go beyond duality, you will see that which supports the duality, like taste supporting water, heat supporting fire, that one who supports all duality. That one who supports all duality. That's the dharma. And that dharma is immortal dharma. That I have taught you now. Yetu dharmyam rutamidam yatha vuktam paryupasate. As I have taught, one who practices this worships Shraddhadana with faith, Mat Parama, keeping me as the supreme goal, not popularity, name, fame, possessions. Name, fame, possessions. Power. When you are wanting power, when you are wanting name and fame, when you are wanting possessions, you are identifying with the body. Identifying with the body, you are losing what you are wanting. What you want is immortality. What you are holding is to that which is mortal. What you want is the most powerful. What you are holding on is the weakest. What you want is bliss. What you are holding on is sorrow personified. Right? And therefore, you need faith in the scriptures and continuously seek that ultimate, not barter away for power, possessions, name and fame. Only that I want. Mat Parama, me as the supreme goal. Bhaktaha, such devotees. Teme Paramo Mataha. I consider those devotees as supreme because devotion and love are measured by the identification. Love and devotion are measured by identification. When a man loses all sense of duality, drops all sense of duality, right? He is one with God, total identification. So naturally, such a bhakta is dear to me because there is no screen in between him and me. There is no line between him and me. There is no wall between him and me. He is dear to me because he removed all the screens and walls that were obstructing him and me. What are the screens in you and me which are preventing our experience of God? Is your mind. Renounce the mind. Detach from the mind. You shall experience the self. Renouncing the mind are all the various guidelines he has given, starting from Advaita, not hating. Not so easy, sir. I told you in the beginning, Nirguna Upasana is not easy. Then what you should, don't worry. My eva manadasva, my buddhim nivesh, all our actions, mat karma paramo bhava, all our actions, mind and intellect, emotions and discrimination, all of them, remember me as the goal. Therefore, these transactions, the journey of the body, mind, intellect, remember me and give all the results as offering to me. Your work is naivedya to me. What I give is prasada to you. That's a simple method. Your body, mind, intellect, through them, you identify with me. That Sagunopasana is easy. When you do Sagunopasana, you will effortlessly, without difficulty, land up in Nirgunopasana. If you start with Nirgunopasana, you will find very difficult. So that's what Bhagavan said it in the beginning itself. Therefore, Guru Bhakti, because Guru is the Pratyaksha Devata. Guru Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhakti, if you have, rest he will take care. Without Guru Bhakti, without Bhagavad Bhakti, your mere gathering information will not help you. It's only a burden on your head. All the best. We'll see next week, 13th chapter, where it teaches us how to detach. Meditation. 13th chapter is one of the best chapters on meditation, which we shall see next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all.